All right.
So welcome to Spotlight Over the City, my brother. It's a pleasure to have you, man. We improvising, like I said, but hey, man, we doing it. It's show business.
It is show business. Welcome to Spotlight Over the City. You all, we have today with us the one and only Cellus Hamilton.
Hey. I'm here in the building.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Welcome
Honored to be here with y'all.
Hey, it's a pleasure. We're excited to have you, man. First of all, like I say, congratulations on all that you have going on. I see you rocking with a band. I like that.
Yeah.
Like that's
I love it live.
Yeah, that's cool. So what made you come up with that concept? Because that's kind of different from being, an artist rapping and then, actually traveling with a live band. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so for me, I grew up kind of like getting a chance to be in like a lot of different concert spaces, and I always loved the DJ type situation, but I always felt like music just sounds and feels better when it's live. Like you just can't fake it. So when you got a rapper on stage, he's still got the DJ, but then also he's got the live band. It's like you're not really confined to what that track is. So for example, if I'm performing and the crowd is extra live on a particular song, and it's like, yo, we having a moment, let's stay here. Like the band can peep that, and really we can make that a thing. We can actually stay there. We're not confined to whenever the track ends, we have to stop. So I love the band for that reason. I feel like it allows me to be more free. It allows me to feed from the crowd and the crowd to feed from me. And so I love the live band situation.
Hey, we get it, man. We from the home of go-go music, which is all live bands, a whole lot of percussions and the whole nine. So
yeah,
I grew up on from this DMV area. So that's what made me appreciate you having a band as opposed to just having a DJ. No disrespect to the DJs, but that's just a different twist. So let's get into it, man.
Yeah,
go ahead, baby.
I mean, we read about you getting into the hip hop rap game because you were influenced by your mom at a very young age. You want to tell us about that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So my mom, she was a hip hop artist back in the 80s, doing her thing, extremely talented. And I would see her, rehearsing for her shows in the living room. I would see her at the kitchen table writing her verses, and I wasn't able to actually see her perform live. She was performing in clubs. I wasn't able to get in, but just seeing her practicing her set and the passion and like how serious she took it, that always stuck with me. And then I remember the very first time that I actually got to see my mom perform live was actually at like a Thanksgiving kind of like community type event where they had a stage set up when it was like real family oriented. And I saw my mom perform, and seeing her do her thing and then the crowd just respond, it made sense to me. It was like, oh, this is what she's been practicing for at home, and now I'm seeing it for a circle. And it just let me know, like, this is what I want to do. I love this, and I want to do the same thing. So yeah.
Wow.
Hey, that's pretty dope, man, especially coming from moms. That's a good thing to get inspiration from that right in your home. So I think without that, you may have taken a different path. What do you think?
Absolutely, for sure. I don't know what it would be, but it definitely would have been a different path.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. So I'm glad you took this path, because now we get to enjoy some amazing music, and it's real music. No disrespect to other, like I said, genres of music or what they do, but you also uplift Christ.
Yeah,
music, and I think that's
what drew us to you.
Everything. Yeah. I'm like, we need that right now. That's a big deal, and you make it cool. So you put fun in it. It's fun music. So how did you decide? Okay, because most people, that do hip hop music or rap or whatever the case you want to call it, don't normally go as lyrical as yourself on that side.
Yeah,
you hear them do it, and no disrespect to anyone, they make great music, but you're really lyrical. Like you are. And so I appreciate that coming from hip hop music myself, just listening, growing up in it. I just appreciate you for what you bring to the music. So I want to ask you something before we get into your next projects and stuff. I was looking at your Instagram, and I saw an incident on it where you had a mishap with your drummer being underage or whatever the case was. He couldn't get into the venue. Right?
Yeah.
To you guys. So now you have this big gig and you don't have a drummer, which is pretty much the heart and soul of your band.
Yeah, you can't do nothing.
You have to do what? How did you guys tell them in case they don't know? How did you pull that off?
First off, that was a chaotic situation. It was the middle of the tour. We were actually in Kansas City for that show. And the different thing about this tour, which a lot of people are shocked when they find out, each city I had a different band on my tour. So I'm an upcoming artist, you know, I'm not working with a label or a big budget. And so that means anything that I want to do, I've got to pay for it. So me being able to pay for a band and then also pay for them to travel on tour is just something not yet in my career that I'm able to afford, you know,
right,
flying everybody out and traveling. So the least expensive route for me was actually finding musicians in each of the cities already that would be able to just get there, and then I'd be able to pay them just for the show and wouldn't have to worry about travel on top. So the particular band in Kansas City, not only already was I traveling, never having played with the people that I was performing with, you know, pretty much, which is already scary. But then we have sound check. Sound check goes amazing. I'm super excited. I'm like, oh, they ready. They killing it.
right.
Now I run back, you know, I run back to the hotel and I'm ready to get dressed for the show because I'm like, all right, it's going to be a good night. And then when I come back, all of a sudden, now the bouncer's there and security's there and they like IDs. And when it's time to go in, the drummer is underage. And so I'm like, hold on, like, number one, I didn't know this. So you got me looking crazy. We just performed, we just sound checked. So now I'm super excited about rocking with y'all, but the bouncer's not budging because he's like, hey, we not finna lose our liquor license for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
So it was a difficult situation, and it just, time was getting close. The crowd was antsy. They had came there for a show waiting for me to perform. Openers were already finishing their slots. And so at this point, the crowd was ready for me to perform. They didn't know what was going on. So we're running down the block because the block that we are on is just a bunch of different clubs. And we're checking in every club, every venue, just to see if there's a drummer in there. Like, we didn't care if they knew the music. We just like, yo, we just need a drummer to come sit on stage and just figure out the beat, figure it out. We got to get the show.
Right.
And of all nights, there was no drummer in any of these clubs. I'm talking, we went in like 6-7 clubs. No drummer in any club, which is rare for, you know, these are all live club venues. They always have. Didn't find a drummer. And then one of the ladies that was actually there at the venue to support me, she comes outside seeing us just in chaos. She's like, what's going on? Y'all ready? Like, y'all look kind of, what's going on? And she's like, hey, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna call one of my guys. He plays drums for me. She happens to sing and gig around. She was like, he plays drums for me. I'm gonna just see where he is. I don't know if he's in the area. He might be doing another show. She was like, I'm gonna see where he is. She called him, and it turns out that he was right down the street.
Oh,
wow.
Fully free, fully available. And he was like, I'm on my way.
Look at
Pulled
God.
up. He was so good. He learned the music kind of like just by picking up the beat from the rest of the musicians. And the show went perfect and the audience never knew. So that's
right there is, hey man, you talking about blessed.
Yeah.
It's not normal. Like, normally it don't go that smooth.
That's divine intervention.
Yeah, bro.
Sure.
And so, man, I thought that was an amazing story because that caught me. I was like, man, that's crazy that happened. And you still pulled it off though, and it works. I'm like, that's crazy.
That's
and
pretty
so
cool.
Is that pretty much one of the only times that you had one of them little real wild incidents, or has it been some other crazy incident? I'm pretty sure being with live bands, different bands.
I feel like a lot of times I've learned to kind of expect that things will happen generally right when it's go time. You know, I think I've been doing music long enough to know that trials and temptations or just things going wrong, music getting deleted, whatever it is, tends to happen at go time. And I feel like that's like, because of the music I'm doing, like, it's spiritual warfare at the end of the day. I knew that people I knew that people in that venue were going to be blessed that night, and the enemy knew that as well. And so, you know, I learned that I can either freak out and start panicking, or I can try to stay cool, know that God's going to work it out. And usually when I trust him, he allows things to work out, such as that situation. So not to say that this always happens, but it happens sometimes. And I've learned to kind of roll with the punches and you know, God handles it.
I think that's a big lesson. I think that's a big lesson for the younger people, even older people when going through things. It's going to happen. And a lot of times, like you say, when you're doing some good work, it's definitely going to happen because it's spiritual warfare. We experience that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, the moment we get ready to talk about something blessed, even a phone call, your phone hangs up or you get a drop call, something crazy happens. It's always like that, but just keep doing.
Yeah.
So what is the name of that tour? Just for those who don't know, we want to make sure we mention that tour you was on.
Yeah. So the tour was called the In Your Face Tour, you know, coming off of a difficult year with COVID, everything being virtual. I wanted people to feel like they had a good time, a good opportunity to come out in your face for something that was going to kind of shift things being behind the screen. And so I didn't do a big tour or a long tour, just given that the fact that I still wanted to be mindful of, you know, us kind of easing back into things opening up. But I did want to make sure that I gave people something that made them feel like, yo, I'm glad I stepped outside. I'm glad I came out. And so we called it the In Your Face Tour. And then even with me bringing the live band, I really wanted it to be in your face, you know, so that.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Listen, why don't you talk a little bit about some of the work you've done? Like we looked on we went through all your stuff, and I got very, very interested simply because, like my husband said, your lyrics provide some spiritual grounding for people, right? You even have a song, I think, Psalm 55.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
What went into that? Like, how did you even say, you know what, I'm going to do this song and it's going to be called Psalm 55?
Yeah. So a lot of my lyrics are just inspired by the word of God. Some not so directly, but a lot of it is. And so in the case of Psalm 55, one of the things that I feel like we have a disconnect between understanding the Bible nowadays, because we're coming from a Western American lens, and the Bible was written for Africans and Middle Easterners. And so when we try to read the Bible with all this Americanese in our brains, we actually miss what it's really saying. So I was reading Psalm 55, and I was just in love with how David would write his real emotions and feelings to God. And some of them were things that I feel like a lot of times we're ashamed to talk about. Like he had Psalms in there where he talked about friends backstabbing him. He had Psalms in there talking about, you know, being afraid that people that he did dirty was going to come back and get revenge on him. And so God, protect me, because I know I did them wrong. And now it's they turn to act on me. Like
exactly.
He would say all these things. And I'm like, yo, this is hip hop. Like, this is what we do. We talk about how we feel, what's going on in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Our friends who did us wrong. And David did that. And so I want to write basically what David talked about with revenge and being backstabbed in my own type of verse. And basically I just looked at Psalm 55, what he was talking about, and I just kind of modernized it into like my own life situation and scenario. So I do that with a lot of my music. I try to take you know, the stories of the Bible and help people see them in a way that they can actually understand them where we live now. So
yeah, I think that's super brilliant. You remind me of this artist. He's an older guy now, probably. His name was The Truth.
Yeah.
You heard of him before?
Man, the truth inspired me so much. Actually, my dad was a barber. My dad came home one day from the barbershop. He always used to come home with new music. Sometimes music that he bought at the shop, you know, dudes coming in there selling CDs. But it was one gentleman's hair he cut, and the guy was like, hey, I really think you should put your son onto this dude named The Truth. And my dad brought the CD home to me. It was The Truth's album called The Faith. And
that's it right there. That's it. That's the one.
It changed my life. Life.
Hey, bro, I promise you, I never heard nothing like that before then. Like, it didn't even sound like gospel rap to me. It just sounded like real rap. Like, a scripture and who would you be in the Bible and blah, blah, blah. I was like, and so when like I say, you reminded me of him. I didn't know you would know who he was, but most people know who he is, but I like him a lot, and I like how you rocking, because it's a real, but it's your own lane, but you put some of that same flow, like I say, lyrical.
Yeah.
Lyrical.
Yeah. It's funny too, bro. It's funny too, because I've been doing music since I was 8 years old. Like I said, starting and being inspired by my mom. And so when I was young, I would always, whenever The Truth would come and do concerts in Atlanta, I was there every time. And usually my church would throw me on stage as like an opener for him. They'd be like, all right, we got The Truth. So you rap for Jesus. So we're going to throw you up there first to warm the stage up. So I was always backstage chasing The Truth around and stuff from when I was a little kid.
Man, this is
so
it's
funny now. It's funny now being an adult and like being a peer of The Truth. And like, we both know each other now as artists, respect each other. And he kind of looks at me like, yo, I remember when you was that little kid and now look at where you got to. And it's cool having stories like that.
Hey, bro, I never would have thought I would get that out of this interview because I thought that would go over your head. Honestly, I just was like, he probably won't know who this cat is, but I love The Truth, man. He was, when I used to listen to that, like you said, I was super inspired by that because I was coming from trap music and I'm coming from a different side of the fence. So for me, listening to gospel music was different, period. So The Truth, it kind of baited me because he was real lyrical, right? And so enough about that though. But I was surprised to hear you though. I see where you are. Yeah, I see. Yeah, man. So hold up, Arthur. Let's not discount that.
But before we talk about the book, I just wanted to say my favorite of yours is Washing Her Feet. And I just want the other married couples out there to just hear a smidgen of why you came up with that song. I know because I read about it, but I want you to tell it.
Yeah. So I love that you brought that up. Washing Her Feet is very special to me. It's a very special project, not only because it came out on my wedding day, but also because I released it same heart that I release all music behind. I really try to release music that I would want more of in the world. And so one of the things that I recognize is I feel like there's a lot of Christians who they don't make music that's practical, like we need music that we can make love to. We need music that talks about love and marriage and like how God designed marriage to be. And the beauty of that. And a lot of times I was hearing, only like the raunchy side of music that talks about love or like the degrading side. And I recognized the gap, but then also I was like, yo, why are Christians scared to talk about sex and to talk about real life things? And I'm the kind of person where I believe that if I don't talk about something, I'm making the world think that I'm making the world take it as their job to talk about it. When I believe God gave it to the church and said, hey, don't run away from anything. Talk about everything because I have a perspective on everything because I made everything. So I wanted to make an album that didn't run away from talking about sex, even conflict in marriage. Like there's songs that talk about arguing and how marriage isn't always, beautiful and roses every day. And so I wanted to make an album that really talked about the fullness of marriage and some of the things that I feel like the church is scared to talk about. So that project is extremely special to me because I feel like it did that. And the church was very angry at that project, just to say. A lot of people did not receive the project well. A lot of people did receive it well, but I think whenever you do something that's honestly, spirit-led, following the Holy Spirit, a lot of times we even see it with Jesus, the church people, the religious people are the ones that are offended. And it was that, like, there were people that said, oh, you're going too far. You shouldn't be talking about that. And it's like, okay, so yeah.
Sorry about that. That's my son in here ringing bells. But
oh, y'all good. Yeah. I ain't even hear it.
A little bit. Look. So I get exactly what you're saying. It's the religious aspect of it though that keeps the real gut truth out of a lot of things. So I think that you should keep doing what you're doing. And of course you're proving yourself right. And a lot of people are right with you. So you have to rock with who rock with you. Sometimes the church, like, just think about it. What's our boy that we covered? Kirk Franklin. Right? Yeah. Kirk Franklin made music ahead of his time, and a lot of people were salty about it, and they didn't want it in the church. They didn't consider it gospel music. It was too ratchet.
Yep, I remember.
All of that kind of stuff. He was dancing to it and going off and had the band. It was too much for them, right? But if you quit you wouldn't have a Mary, and all these other people that came. He birthed a lot of people. Ty Tribbett, all these young boys came after him, and they had the guts to do it because he knocked down the barriers, like you doing right now in your lane.
I consider you a trailblazer in your lane, and one of the things that Stan and I really loved about your work is that you speak from a spiritual basis, not religious, spiritual.
Yeah,
who we are as well inside of us. So yeah, we appreciate what you're doing. We appreciate your work a lot.
That means a lot. Thank you so much.
Definitely. So I heard you on this, I don't know if it was a show or something, but you was rocking out to a song that I really like. It was some kind of challenge, what was it? Was it a concert? It was on your IG, and it was lit. It was a really nice song.
Yeah.
It was a really nice song.
Let's talk about the book though, because we don't want to keep you wrapped up too long. Let's talk about the book, and
we act like we at home for real. So all right, so yeah, it's cool, bro. And you threw me off with the truth though, because that was a conversation. I was like, man, yeah. So you got a book coming out. You're an author, or is it out? Is it live?
So the book will be released next week. We're very close. I got one with me right here, so y'all can see it. The book is called "If Jesus Was a Rapper."
Hey,
by Cellus Hamilton. So this book, this is my baby right here. This is my first book. It's something that I sat down to try to write probably like 3 years ago. And I felt like God stopped me and was like, yo, you haven't lived enough. Like, keep trusting me, keep making music, keep pressing in, and I'll give you experiences that let you know when it's time to write this. So I say all that to say that sometimes I think all of us have a story and a book inside of us, but I think sometimes we've just got to continue to allow God to give us the right time for when to do it and tell it. So this book it's part of my story. It's like half memoir, but then it's half expository. So I use my 20 years of experience in the music industry, starting from a child artist in Atlanta to now being an adult independent artist living in New York City. And I talk about a lot of the dark sides of the music industry. I talk about a lot of the things and experiences that I've been through that people don't know about. But then I bring it back ultimately to say, hey, there are a lot of people who love God and are doing music as well. And now here's the challenge. What would this music industry and what would this music sound like if Jesus was in it? And asking these questions and using my life and some of the experiences and the darkness that I've been through as a guide, I think it poses a great challenge to the reader to be able to imagine, man, what would the music industry look like if Jesus was a rapper? How would his music sound? How would he have the crowds hype? Where would he perform? Would he be in the churches or would he be in the clubs? And I think that people would really be blessed by this book, because I think anytime you get a chance to use your imagination, God has a powerful opportunity to work on your heart to get you to see what he wants you to see. So that's what this book is about, and I'm extremely excited for people to read it.
Yeah, I like it already, man. I like what you stand for. I like it already. And I'm gonna ask you something being on that subject. I'm gonna say this first. If I was a person coming out the Bible as a rapper, I would be David.
Yeah.
Who would you be?
You took mine, so I'm gonna think of someone else.
That's why I had to go first, because I think I think me and you David. So I said I'm already David. So you could be David as well, but that's who
I got you. I'll be Solomon. I will be Solomon, because Solomon, he also wrote a lot of the love poetry that we read in like Song of Solomon, and which actually inspired my Washing Our Feet project, is just the way that he talked about love. And it let me see that love and the way that we express love is very godly. And so him being a poet and nice with the words, I think I'll be Solomon. So yeah.
I'm with that. Okay.
I love David and Solomon. So two great men, two great men.
Man.
What's next for you? Before we wrap things up, what's next for you? Are you going to be doing a book tour? Are you ever going to be in the DMV so you can come into our studio and get live with us?
Like this.
Absolutely. So DMV is like home to me. I went to Howard University, so I spent so many years at HU, and I frequent DMV often because my wife is also from DC. So DMV is home. That was actually the city that sold out on the tour. DC came out crazy. Cool. And we should have did a bigger venue because people was mad they couldn't get in. But
so yes, next time you coming through, make sure you holler at us and we'll promote it. Make sure the whole city come out.
That's right.
Absolutely. So yeah, I absolutely would love to come in and chop it with y'all in the studio and link up. What's next for me is I am planning to do a book tour. And with me being a musician, I'm always gonna find a creative way to make music a part of that. So I'm thinking pull up at some local bookstores, independent Black-owned bookstores in the cities, and let people come out, buy the book, meet me, and then probably also have a surprise pop-up concert somewhere later on that night. So that's kind of how I'm thinking.
I tell you what, we can accommodate that. We can have the book signing at our real studio, and then we can have the concert with a whole stage right there at the studio. So you will have to leave the studio. We got everything, a whole stage, everything, band, everything is right there on our set. So
it's already set up. That sounds great.
And we'll set the book signing up because like I said, I'm not fluff when I tell you I like what you stand for. That book is going to be amazing too. So I know you can't tell the religious people that you deal with what I'm getting ready to tell you. So I'll just tell it to you and then you just repeat it like say Stan said.
Yeah.
Stan said that we were the Hebrew people and Jesus, Yahshua himself, was a Hebrew and he was he's the Lion of Judah because Judah is the Negro. And so this is who we are, a part of the 12 tribes God is coming back to rescue right about now. And so we're in 13, 12, 14, somewhere around in there. 14:1, Christ returns. Let them know we are the Hebrew people that's spoken of in the Bible that never was told to us, but we are Judah, to be particular, if you're a Negro. And to go even further, the reason why they at the Haitians, because that's Levi. Those are the Levites. So let those religious people know that Stan Long said the Levites, the Haitians, the Judah tribe, the Negro, is one of the two dominant tribes of the 12, and it's time for us to be rescued. And so get ready and not be fearful, but be faithful. Let's rock out.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Let's get into it. Let them know I said it though, because they might cut you out. Well, we ain't no Hebrew. Who said that, mama? Let them know Stan said, and if they don't believe it, go back into the first 5 books and trace the bloodline, and you'll see that Judah is the Negro. Is why we've been hated all over the world as the Negro dog race of people, because some people know who we are. Now it's time for us to know who we are. We are the Hebrew people, and in particular, the Negro is a Hebrew. So know that so was Isaiah, so was most of your prophets. We're not just talking about Hebrews, they were Negroes. That's why Isaiah talked about Judah so much, because he was from that tribe. We're a tribal people, and our bloodline has been traced back to Judah. That's how we got here. So please let them know, and don't be afraid to say, Stan said, we are Hebrews, and we need to wake up and know who we are, because we're in the last days. We're in chapter 13 of Revelations, headed to 14:1, Christ returns. Let's get into it, brother. I can't wait to speak to you soon. I love that book. Let them know how they can follow you and get into that serious music. We even got a band here for you when you come to DC, bro. Yep. No games played. I'm not even joking. We got everything already on deck.
In the studio.
Yeah, we got a whole full-fledged band that
already set up. I love it.
They'll be right there and show up, and you can get it all the way in and then have your book signing, and then we can talk about that word a little bit on the backside.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, y'all know y'all can find me everywhere online at cellushamilton.com, Cellus Hamilton on all social media. And I'm gonna continue, I got music. Like I said, I got the book coming. I've just got so many things that I want to share with people. Yeah. And it's all birthed out of my journey and my experience. And I think that's the thing that even that y'all, are talking about, is that when you think about us being spiritual people and not religious people, there's a difference between religion and relationship. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about this book and my music is that people understand when they're listening to it or when they're reading it, that they're getting it from somebody who's actually lived these things. And I think that's one of the big disconnects that I hear when I listen to a lot of music today, is that it seems like people are sharing experiences that they know of, but not that they've lived. And so I just want to keep doing that. I want to keep putting out good music for the people, keep letting them know about the truth of Jesus, and just, just keep being an example. So that's what I'm about. And I'm grateful for the platform and the way that y'all have allowed me to be here and share my life with y'all right here. So
can you show that book one more time and let people know, like once it's out, how do people get it?
Absolutely. So If Jesus Was a Rapper, Cellus Hamilton, available everywhere books are sold. So starting on Monday, you'll see this weekend, I'll drop the commercial, and then we'll start launching it. But you can get it on CellusHamilton.com, but as well, your regular spots, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart.
We'll try to drive them to you first, though, so you can keep the bulk of the money in your pocket. That's
what I'm trying to do, because y'all know
I'm an author, brother. I'm an author. I already know how this goes. So
you already know. And then
you want to come to you first.
And one of the special things that I want to let people know is the audio book, which you can get on Audible, is recorded by your boy. So when you actually riding in the car, or whatever you're doing, and you like, yo, I want to pick up where I left off reading, but I actually want to listen to it, you got it being read by your boy in his own voice, and it kind of has that hip hop flavor as well. So you listening to the story and you're able to soak it in that way. So,
hey, super cool. I love it, man. I love that.
Well, before we turn it over to you, because you have something special for our audience and our viewers. I want to say congratulations. You have a newborn. How old is the baby?
Baby just turned 1 month yesterday.
Oh man, you got a newborn.
New.
What's his name?
Simeon Malachi.
Oh my goodness, he a strong Hebrew. Simeon Malachi. What? Okay, well, man, you blessed, brother. I already could tell. So that son of yours is super blessed as well.
Yes.
And so congratulations to you and yours on Simeon.
Yes.
And I already know he's gonna be nothing but a big old warrior coming up.
Yo, absolutely.
So so to all of our viewers and listeners who are going to be hearing this when we have it on our live show, we have enjoyed Cellus Hamilton to the fullest. And what you got for him?
Oh yeah, let's give him a little something before we get out of here.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna give y'all a piece of this joint. It's one of my favorites. It's called Same War. There is a music video to it featuring my homegirl Brittany Carter, one of the coldest MCs out of Chicago. So this is Same War. I'm gonna give y'all a taste of this joint right here. Can y'all hear me good?
Yeah.
Listen. Yeah, I come from the ground, I go to the sky. I'm a spirit, I'm soulful, but physically fly. I like rings cause they never end, like dreams of a veteran that's been in war, been dispatched, but still Confederate flag that marks the spot where my heart was forever changed. Battlefield of addiction, don't take this needle in vain. I lost the same war 4 times in different generations. My sons was going places until I crashed. Laying on the dash of my vices, I lost control. I held a fist, then I slipped and lost my grip. Completely missed all his grace, how'd I forget? Sometimes being too careful propels you into abyss. Confused jokers I played, pokers and spades. Not many even focus this way. In Vegas we stayed right on the strip. Was finna dip. Hennessy got me lit, I'm hip. The club is dim, the light was him. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, it's up though.
If I had a fire right now, I would light it.
We got a fire. You fire. Hey, that right there, that part. Hey, bro.
Man, I can't wait to have you live in the studio.
That's all I was thinking.
I can't wait to come pick
you in the studio. We'll tear it up in that joint, bro.
For sure.
Hey, but you did your thing. We appreciate that much, man. Much respect to you, man. Can't wait to meet you in person. We'll be up. I'll talk to you soon. We'll do it on the backside.
You all make sure you follow Cellus Hamilton on all social media platforms, and it's just Cellus Hamilton, right?
Yep, Cellus Hamilton on all social media.
Yeah,
okay.
So, yeah, we'll have it on the screen. All right, bro. Thanks for rocking with us, man, on Spotlight Over the City. All love. Enjoy.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Now, Cellus, I'm gonna ask you to just do a really quick drop. We're gonna edit this, obviously. And when I'm in DMV, I'm rocking with Spotlight Over the City.
For sure. It's your boy Cellus Hamilton, and when I'm in the DMV, I'm rocking with Spotlight in the City.
All right, one more time.
Over the city?
Over the city, yeah.
I felt like it was that. Okay.
You and everybody does the same.
Yeah.
You and everybody does. So yeah, one more time. Over the Spotlight Over the City. I got you.
Got you. It's your boy Cellus Hamilton, and when I'm in the DMV, I'm rocking with Spotlight Over the City.
Hey, all right. Well, we'll catch up with you soon.
All right, Brody, be good, man.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Much love to you and the family, and prayers
Absolutely.
for the young one.
For sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Spotlight over the city.